This video is sponsored by Battle City Gym. Check them out for all your singles and sealed product needs.
Oh, didn't see you there. So today was GP Jersey. We had a wonderful time there with the rest of the Deepwood crew. Just give a little pan around the room so everyone can see that they're here.
Hey.
So everyone pretty much had a good time. Some people did better than others, obviously. Not everyone can do well, sadly. I played Fox. We got Fox here. So I started out kind of rough. We started with a Priscia matchup where I couldn't hit Killing Stones and then died really quickly because it was like a kind of facey version where the guy hit a lot of Red Riding Hoods in the early game, so I just kind of died. And I didn't really have much outs. So that was kind of bad. I felt it kind of put a little bit of a damper on the day, but we made a little bit of a comeback as we went on the day. Next round was against Wukong. I played the only Wukong at the event. There he is. In that corner.
Wukong!
In his own words, he has a very bad matchup against Fox. So unfortunately, wasn't really much of a problem. You just put a bunch of big resonators out on board, and Wukong kind of has a hard time. In one of the games, I did the Heavenly Gust chase a Black Moonbeam and literally obliterated his whole deck. So that was that game. Next round was so that was a win. So I was a 1-1 at that point. Third round I played against K4. That went to game 3. A really interesting thing happened. Turn 1 he energizes out Prison in the Lunar Lake. He thought he had me off of that, but next turn he goes into, like, I hit first turn Killing Stone, so I was already ready to go Judgment and everything. I Judgmented on turn 2 to get ready to see if he would make this mistake. And on his turn 2 he goes and taps and goes to try and play 12 pieces of the kimono or whatever, that thing. And as soon as he does that, he realizes his mistake. He tries to take it back. I'm like, no, I have the answer, so we're playing this out. And he goes to move to his end phase. I start doing the Fox thing, go to play the Griffin. He attempts the Lunar Lake. Severin wins off the Lunar Lake, and he pretty much gets blown out from there. So that was that game. That's another win, so it was up 2-1 there. Fourth round I played against a guy, Bond, that I know from Fire and Dice and the Arena back in good old Long Island. And he was playing like a water version of Death and Taxes. Really interesting. Had a lot of good cancels. Game 1 I won really quickly, a little bit too quickly, honestly. Game 2 we go, he gets a really good control lock going on me, so it slowed down the game. I thought I could survive long enough to just draw the game out into time and end the game like that, but 10 minutes before the round ends, he clips me with Arla, and it kills me. So we go into game 3, and he gets a really strong opening again with his control options, gets a bunch of Lunar Lakes, Abdul's out, and unfortunately we have to draw the game as opposed to me going off fast. So at that point I was 2-1-1, still trying to be hopeful for another win. Round, what were we up to, 5?
Yeah.
Round 5 was Croc-a-Shark Tree. Like they were using the new Dark Tree and then playing a bunch of Croc-a-Sharks. Really fun guy to play against, really fun deck. Like, he was just milling a bunch of Croc-a-Sharks. You hit him, you had to pick up the deck and just fan him out for everyone. And then he would just make like massive Rizards along with this his 2020 Croc-a-Sharks. Game 3 was kind of fun though because game 2, it was a 2-0. He paid himself down using Final Battle. I had an Arthur on board, so he had to pay like 28 life, and then he paid 1,000 for Riza, so he was way down on life, all the way down to 100, and there was a moment where I had to hit Killing Stone off the top or die that turn. Hit the Killing Stone, he has to scoop because he's about to lose 100 life, and that kills him. So that's another win that put me at 3-1-1. Next round I played another Prisia. This Prisia played a little bit slower. It wasn't as aggressive as the first Prisia I played, or he at least just didn't open as well. I could not find my Killing Stones in that matchup. Game 1 it took me to turn 3 to get my Killing Stone. Second game, turn 3. And then game 3, he sided into Blazer, which I think is like the worst choice against Fox, I'll be honest. And it takes me all the way to turn 5 to get my Killing Stone. So he picked Blazer, and I couldn't find a Killing Stone to save my life, so that kind of messed him up more than it messed me up. And all I did was just put one Chimera on board and win the game. Also in game 2, he tried to Thunder me, but something went really wrong. He was trying to play around Severing Wind, so he did. I was at like under 1,000 life, so he went Thunder on his end of turn as the first card he played that turn. Go to my turn, Thunder me, but he forgot that I had a Killing Stone up with Fox, so I just triggered the Killing Stone, sacked him off, made an Amit, have Amit eat itself so that I would gain back the 15 health and not die to the Lightning Strike and win the game from there. So that was really cool. It was like a return from the dead kind of comeback. At that point I was at 4-1-1, and I was one game away from finally getting into like my first top at a major event. And I went up playing against Matt Hawkins. He was playing the Black Tree that everyone's raving about now. And that did not go well for me because Black Tree is really, really strong against Vox. Game 1, he goes Abdul, Circle of Protection, calling black, and I'm pretty much busted at that point. My deck doesn't work, and I don't have any type of advantage on him. I can't be unfair to him, and his deck's just completely unfair because he has 6,000 life. So, and you know, he's got big Rizards that he can bring out at will. So that was kind of a wash. And scoop that up, go on to game 2. Side into like final forfeits and stuff so I could have options in that game. Never really got the ball rolling with Fox. I wound up getting like a turn 3 Killing Stone. Just really slow start, and a bunch of Tamas that I need to play into Abdul's was very weak. Didn't really get anything started, and then Tree just has a bunch of like good Resonators, good high quality cards in its deck, so I kind of just ran out of steam against it eventually, and was down to like a Keen Sense against like that deck, and it didn't work out. So I ended up 4-2-1 on the bubble, 27th place. Definitely a good time. I enjoyed the deck. There was definitely some things I could have wanted to change because Tree became so much better, and if I would have liked to play against a little bit of a different Prestia deck as opposed to like we tested a little against like the Mariabella builds, but the aggro build was a lot more prevalent at this event. So I'll show you my deck, show you what went wrong, what went right. First and foremost, we got For the Bird. I think this is so much better than Tama. Speaking of which, I also ran 4 of those. In the future, I would not run 4 and 4. I'd probably cut 1, because this card's really bad against Abdul, and Abdul is like everywhere. But I do like my green 1-drops. Very good card overall. Next up is my favorite black drop, Abdul. Abdul actually did not do much for me today. There were not a lot of things that like to be Abdul besides like that Kraka Shark Tree, which isn't even like a real deck, but it was fun to play against. But yeah, 6/6 body. The best thing that I had with it was that it comboed really well with Dreadlord Arthur. Just being 8/8s for 2 is really good. But again, not that strong, but it's good against certain matchups. I just didn't play those matchups that much. I sided it out a lot, just like the 3rd or 4th ones of them. Next is World Tree Protector. These things get big, they're fun. Oh, also part of the avatar package is Baleful Avatar, so might as well show him too. World Tree Protector is like fantastic. It's a recurring green Resonator. It's gonna be said when that card rotates out soon. Baleful Avatar was just a good thing to use up the package. Kind of weak to Abdul, but again, it's just a black drop anyway, so who cares? Decent. Messenger helped me a lot when I bottom decked my 4 Killing Stones. That happened twice today. Once where I got like turn 5 Killing Stone, and the other one where I didn't see my Killing Stone at all against the Prissy in round 1. So would have been nice to see him there, but I didn't. But it wasn't an MVP in that second Prissy round. Next up is Shade. Shade's really good because of that Residence, and it also can pop out of duels if they wanted to playing them, but kind of ran into barriers sometimes. So again, 6/4 is pretty good. I like the card. Gains life. Really good against aggro. Rizard. I didn't see this card today at all. I think I sacked it for Chimera once because I drew it as a black thing for my combo. Demonic Dead is sick. This is the Demonic Dead build as opposed to like a Monkey Trapped in Life or Lily's Patel build. Demonic Dead's really strong. Pay 5, free black things is good. Assistant. It felt bad whenever I drew this and not like a top deck situation, but it gained value sometimes, so I couldn't really complain about it. I wouldn't play more than one of it. Dreadlord, this card's insane, just always comes back. Big body, buffs your chimeras, debuffs their board, can turn really scary aggro situations into like pipsqueaks that can't get through. 4 Planting Beans. These 4 Planting Beans go along with the Dreadlord, and Demonic Dead. If when you want to open with like one of your green 1-drops and Planting Beans. Get the Demonic Dead in the grave, then play a Bird or Tama or something. Get the draw, and then you can use those two to start your Killing Stones and get your Chimeras out. After your first Planting Beans, your second one usually drops your Arthur, and then your third and fourth ones are usually used with Awakening to search whatever you want in the deck. Really versatile, really strong card. I love it. I don't think you can play Fox without this currently, but I could be wrong. I haven't seen it. 2 Terraclyte Excalibur, spot removal, removes it from the game. 1 will. All really good things for this card. 2 Keen Sense. Really good in the control matchup, but the games where it mattered, I didn't see it, and the games where it didn't matter, I saw it a lot. So I was kind of like upset at this card today. It helps start the Severing Winds Wars, where they play a card, you cancel that card, and then you can start Severing Windsing each other. So you always want to get the jump on that if you think you have more Severing Winds, and Keen Sense helps do that, as opposed to using some of your Resonators, because you don't want to like lose a green Resonator to a Severing Winds. That's really painful. 2 Dark Purge. Really versatile. I like the quick cast on it. -6, -6 is like the right number. Good against aggro. Helps if you combine it with Tama, you can hit 8 health, which is like Arla, which is a really good number. Definitely a good card, so I wouldn't play without it. I honestly would consider playing another one of these over Shade. I know Shade and that do like the same thing, but Dark Purge has a little bit more versatility to it. I played 1 Wind Secluded Refuge in the main because I didn't want to just get outed by someone like that decided to bring Blazer to the event. I didn't use it all that much. I did use it for like small things that wind up mattering a little bit. Like I think I blocked an Arla shot, like the 2 health Arla ping, and that stopped him from actually killing a Resonator because they got down too low and they were worried about dying. So that was pretty good. Besides that, it really just didn't do too much. It always cycled for a card though, and they eventually targeted something, so it got some value. But it wasn't like game breaking. I played 1 Dance of Shadows. I think it's really good in the long game if you ever have to play against that. I did have a problem with this card though. A lot of the late game control decks are playing multiple Rizards, multiple Dark Alices, so it really wasn't something I wanted to see. If I got it, I was like, I need to play this thing immediately whenever I get the chance, because there's a good chance that it just gets floodgated out into a useless card. I might cut this in from future builds. And to end off the build, I played 3 Severing Winds. When you play against aggro a lot, you want that 4th Severing Winds because they just want to play fast. They want to flood. They want to just put their hand on the board and go in. And Severing Winds is something that's just really good about getting rid of that. This card is like stupid powerful, and you always have to play around it, play smart around it. If you do, you wind up doing well, but you also have to worry about the tempo loss from doing it. A lot of times you just have to say, if you have it, you have it, go in, or at least put a bait out for it to try and get your plays off. Stone deck or sideboard, Mike?
Let's go stone deck. Let's see the build here.
Okay, you're gonna be really surprised by these first 4. They're killing stones.
Okay.
You're playing Fox.
What's the rationale?
If you play anything less than 4 killing stones on Fox, you're insane.
Cool. Okay. Continue.
4 black stones. It's a green-black deck. There's nothing other than green and black in this deck. So I play 10 green-black stones. I play 2 of these. These things suck, but
they're green-black stones. Yeah.
They're not actually green-black stones.
They're just green. Well,
They produce green and black. Even though they say stone in their name, they're not considered green-black stones.
Right.
So they don't actually trigger the resonance on shade. So that matters sometimes.
Sometimes.
It kind of sucks, but whatever. It does its job sometimes. I did have to use up the counters on those ones.
Ooh.
That was against Matt Hawkins.
Of course.
So the side deck was really standard. 4 Griffin, 2 Amit, 2 Manticore. I think I went to a Manticore once today. I think I popped out I actually hit Dawn of the Earth out of someone's hand with Manticore.
Ooh.
That was really good. Griffins, you always go into those first. Amits are really just big bodies. Pretty good day with these. Wouldn't change the ratio at all. If I wanted to be like really stressed for space, I could consider cutting a Griffin. I don't think I ever go into 4 Griffins, but it's the most average body, and flying is always good. The actual side deck, 2 Final Forfeits. If they called Barrier black using their 0 circle protection Final Forfeits, you're out to Abdul, so you can get a turn off to start your engine. And also Final Forfeits really good against Arthur Pendragon, King of the Round Table, if someone's playing Death and Taxes. 2 people on my team were playing Death and Taxes, so I felt stressed to put this card in the deck, even though I never saw one today.
Hey.
But I did side this in a lot. It's also okay against Prisia, because you can Final Forfeit the actual Prisia to make its God's Art a lot less potent. To go along with the Final Forfeits, I also played Moonbeams. They don't actually go hand in hand, but if I ever played against Fox, I could do that combo. Moonbeam just hurts a lot of J-Ruler-centric decks. If someone wants to like go and try and push my face in with any type of J-Ruler-based strategy, having double Moonbeam's a really good option. Can't really say much else. Moonbeam's still a broken card, in my opinion. I set an additional Windsecluded Refuge if someone wanted to counter deck me with Blazer. I kind of wanted more answers, and also in the mirror match, Windsecluded Refuge is a much better spell than, say, Severing Winds, because Severing Winds can be pretty bad in the Fox matchup if they know you have it. So I was willing to maybe slide one of those out for an extra Windsecluded so I can cancel an Amit that was trying to pop my Amit and gain health off of it or whatever. That type of thing. There's always a good target in this meta. There's a lot of targeting going on in general. And I also played 1 Heavenly Gust. This is good for K4, and it wound up being really good against the Wukong. because both of them play lots of additions all at once, and Heavenly Gust just blows them out. Puts them really far back on their will. Good card. I might want to put in another one in the side deck if I ever play Fox in the future, just because I want to see this card more. And the last one was the fourth Severing Winds, because I thought it was a really good option against aggro, and it turned out to be. So that's how it went. I can't really complain about it. Severing Winds is a great card. So that's the deck list. Fox did well. Not really ashamed of my choice. I think out of what we knew before coming into this tournament, I think it was the best choice. So, and I think my performance today showed that. But of course, running into Black Tree, not really knowing what to do against it, never really playing against that type of playstyle before, really hurt, and it kind of cost me a top. So hopefully, we put a little bit more time and strategy into figuring out what decks could be seen at the next meta, as opposed to playing for the meta. So I'm Joe, 27th place at GP Jersey. Wish I could have gotten 5th where Matthew Hawkins got, but whatever. And I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Deep Wood, signing out.